Max Duggan and the TCU Horned Frogs steamroll the Oklahoma Sooners in Dallas-Fort Worth. But before we get into it, go ahead, hit that like and subscribe button. Let me know what you guys are thinking down in the comments below about the performance of the Oklahoma Sooners last week in Fort Worth against the TCU Horned Frogs. Additionally, if you guys intake any of your podcasts on Google, Apple, or Spotify, please go ahead, find me on there, The PG Show, leave me 5 stars, give me a review, tell me what you like or don't like about the show. It really helps me a lot and helps me bring you guys great content. Okay, it's official. I guess whenever a quarterback goes to play the University of Oklahoma, they're going to look like a Heisman winner. It's just how it is. Max Duggan had himself a day. 23 of 33 for 302 yards and 3 touchdowns. And quite honestly, if all OU had to worry about was a 55-24 loss to TCU, I feel like we would be in pretty great shape. But instead, OU has to worry about injuries after injuries after injuries after injuries in this game. So let's go ahead. Let's break it down. I've had some time to sleep on it. I'm pretty sure y'all have too. I do want to preface this, though. I'm not going to come out here and I'm not going to attack the players. We're not going to do that. Because ultimately, as fans, it looks really bad when we go out there and we rip our own players when all these recruits see it. Remember, social media, everybody can see it nowadays. So when you go out there and you get onto people, you call them names or whatever it is, it makes recruits not want to come here. All right. Let's start with the positives. Javonte Barnes looked pretty good in this game. 18 carries, 100 yards, and 2 touchdowns. As a true freshman, I feel like that's pretty good. Other than that, I don't think there's really any bright spots in this game. TCU, they played their best game that they probably could have played against Oklahoma, while Oklahoma played, probably the worst game that we've seen in 20 years. At least, maybe 20 years plus. A lot of people are saying that this is worse than the John Blake era, which, for those of you who are my age, we really don't remember those years. But for some of you guys that are watching my show, because I've seen the demographics, you guys might really remember the John Blake eras and how bad that was for Oklahoma. And it was a dark spot. So, yeah, it's as simple as that. OU played as bad as a game as they possibly could have. TCU played probably the best game they could have. Here's the thing that's a head scratcher to me. I don't understand why we're running a 3-man front when we don't have the personnel to run a 3-man front. So we have Isaiah Coe, who can play the nose tackle, but outside of that, we don't have another player that can play it. And Isaiah Coe can't play the whole game. You know, Jeffrey Johnson's not a nose tackle. Redmond's not a nose tackle. I know BV likes to run the 3-3-5. I feel like he's going to have to get away from it for us to be successful here. The offense, I felt like, was pretty good up until the point Dillon Gabriel got hurt. And here's what I mean by that. They came out of the gate and immediately started trying to pass the ball. And they were at least trying to establish the running game while they were doing that. And I was at least impressed. I was at least impressed that they tried to establish the passing game early, right? Within the first drive. Because I felt like that's something they needed to do for the past 4 games prior to this, and they hadn't done it. So that leaves me to a bright spot there, because at least that tells me, okay, they know what they need to do to be successful in the future. The defense played terrible. There's not another way around this. And, you guys don't need me to tell that because you guys can see the box score. 668 total yards compared to OU's 355. OU had 1 turnover. TCU had 0. Time of possession, it really wasn't that bad. TCU had it 32 minutes. OU had it 27. So, really, it was just all on the defense there. And it wasn't on specifically one player of the defense. It was really everybody. And if you go back and you watch the game, I know a lot of people are going to want to call out the back seven because, well, they didn't play their best game. But ultimately, Bowman got hurt and the other guys didn't step up. It's just as simple as that. And, unfortunately, this was a game where we got plagued by injuries. But here's my thing. And this is the problem that I have right now with this team. I don't understand why we aren't playing some of the talented guys on our team that I feel like should be out there. And again, I'm not on the coaching staff, so I have no insight to why these guys aren't getting playing time, but specifically Robert Spears-Jennings. We saw him come out towards the end, and he had 2 total tackles, right? My thing is, I feel like he's better than mainly everybody else in that room outside of Billy Bowman. I mean, I definitely feel like he's better than Broyles, and I definitely feel like he's better than Jaden Davis. And I'm curious how much time he's actually going to get now that Damon Harmon's, I feel like, potentially going to be out for a while. So I feel like guys like Robert Spears-Jennings and Gentry Williams and people like that, maybe you put them out there. Maybe you see what they're made of. Give them an opportunity. But I don't know. I don't know the reasoning of why. Additionally, I don't get why Gavin Sawchuk is not getting the amount of touches that we feel like he should be getting. This was a guy that I kept being told all throughout the preseason. You're overlooking Gavin. You're overlooking Gavin. He's super fast. He's super fast. Well, if he's so fast and he's so versatile in the running game, why aren't we playing him more? So for me, it's little things like that that make me kind of scratch my head and go, why? But especially on the defense, something's going to have to change on the personnel side because whatever we're doing, it's not working. And I'm not going to specifically, like I said, I'm not going to call out one player and trash him for this game, but I do want to ask a question. There are certain players on this team that we had really high expectations coming into this year, and they haven't lived up to the expectations that we had for them. You know what? I'm just going to go ahead and say it because you guys are probably wondering. Danny Stutzman and Ethan Downs. We had really high expectations for these guys, and they have high expectations for themselves. So let's just not act like it was one-sided, right? They have high expectations for themselves, especially Ethan Downs. Danny Stutzman has at least played pretty well this season on the whole. I mean, he's missed some tackles here and there, but on the whole, I feel like Danny Stutzman has had a pretty okay year. I'm going to use okay. But Ethan Downs, I felt like we expected him to have a breakout year this year. Under the Schmitty conditioning, it definitely looked like he'd gotten bigger. But it almost seems like he's not able to put it together. He only has 2.5 sacks this season, 11 total tackles. And I don't know, maybe he's just not being used properly. Because I'll give Ethan Downs this. When I see this kid on the field, he's playing his heart out. And he's leading this defense. Just something's not working in the scheme to where maybe he's not getting the stats on the sheet. Now, he's doing stuff that's not pulling up on the stat sheet. That is incredible. Again, he's doing really good things on the field outside of just making football plays. I just felt like we expected a little bit more out of him, but there's still a lot of season left. So he can turn that around really quickly. Additionally, Deshaun White, I feel like we're going to have to move him out of the cheetah role, and I feel like he just needs to move back to a linebacker, and we need to put Kanak or Harrington in that cheetah role. I think that's the best. I think that's your best option. I felt like Deshaun White was good at the role the first 3 games, but the past 2 games he's kind of fallen off in that role. And yeah, I mean, I don't know what else to say about that one. I mean, I bet Deshaun Watson, a great dude, and you can definitely tell he's going to make plays, but I just don't think he's right for the cheetah role. So I definitely want to see Kanak play a little bit more, and I think you guys too. I see it a lot all over Twitter. Kanak needs to play more, especially with that speed and that athleticism. But ultimately, I look at this defense, and I look at the missed tackles. I look at the 4 plays in this game. So 4 plays, they had 60 yards or more and scored on all 4 of those. Came out to like 270 some yards or 280 yards at the end of it. That's ridiculous. You can't be giving that up. That's 28 points. 28 points you gave up there. I don't know what kind of adjustments BV and Roof and Bates and those guys are going to have to make. They're going to be tough adjustments. Let me tell you this. There is nothing about this game and nothing about what they're going to have to go do this weekend that's going to be easy for them. So we as fans need to continue to trust in BV and trust in this staff, because I guarantee you, you don't want to be in their shoes. You're not going to want to have to be in their shoes to go tell a kid, hey, we're going to have to take you out of your starting role because we got to try something different. It's just not working out. You know how hard that's got to be? Now, no doubt in my mind, if somebody loses their starting role, they're going to have an opportunity to win it back. But going into the OU Texas weekend, this is a game where you lose it and you lose it bad, the fan base is going to turn really quickly. OU expects to beat Texas and Oklahoma State every single year. Those are not games that we want to lose it. Now, I'm not going to give a prediction on the Texas game just yet. I'm going to be on the Locked On Longhorns podcast, which is a part of the Locked On Network, tomorrow, recording, talking about Oklahoma and Texas, breaking down what we should expect to see in that game. So be looking on the out for that. I will go ahead and retweet it. I will say this. Right now, Texas has opened up as a -6.5 point favorite in this game, and it does appear that Quinn Ewers is going to start in this game. So, with that being said, it's going to be interesting. Y'all will have to stay tuned for my prediction on that one and my breakdown. I will do a video for that one later in the week. I will probably do it with Jay or Chris or whoever I can get on. Additionally, you'll probably see them put out their own videos. Going to see lots of OU Texas content this weekend. You're not going to see a lot of trash talk this weekend. Let me tell you that. OU fans, humble yourselves a little bit. This is not the year to be braggadocious. Okay? It could get ugly. So just keep that in mind. Thank you guys for tuning in. I really appreciate it. If you guys haven't already, please go ahead, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. It helps me bring you guys great content. And 75% of you guys are not subscribed that watch my videos. So go ahead and subscribe. It helps me out a lot. And it's free for you guys. It doesn't cost you guys any money. So thank you guys. Really appreciate it. We'll see you guys next time.